We are live. Hey, Robert. Hope you're doing well, man. I came out a little early, so. Hey, Logan. How you doing, bud? Good to hear, man. Man, I could go for some wings today. Hey, William. How are you doing today, man? That's kind of. I'm kind of surprised. Like, I'm glad people are still able to get takeout at least. Hey, howdy, howdy. How you doing today, man? I think I made a really weak coffee. Just got this Jenny L chick on in the background here. You guys ever seen her? Not too bad. A little self-inflicted under the weather today. My own damn fault. So is LAX, I take it they're still letting in the international flights and all that. The airport here is one of 4 in Canada still doing international. Hello, geezer. How are you doing today? Hello, NS something.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Nice rainy Sunday. So at least it's you don't feel too bad just staying inside.
Yeah. I didn't even bother putting on jeans. I'm in sweatpants today.
Yeah.
You still have snow on the ground there?
Yeah, in some places. Still
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah. Hello, Neo.
Hey, Logan, blue shirt.
Hey. Hey guys, how are you?
Hey
Good,
guys, how are you? Logan,
Good.
NS,
Hey, blue shirt.
Chris,
Good.
what's up, man?
How you doing?
Hanging in.
Good to hear.
Hey, Neo, Geezer, Robert, all you guys in the chat. Williams watches. Howdy from Texas. How are you, my friend? Thomas, what's going on, guys?
Yeah.
Not too much, just honestly, last time that I was here, I don't really think that like I, you know, properly introduced myself. I just kind of went straight into my collection. So, I'm based out of Columbia, like in South Carolina, and they actually just put in like a stay-at-home order, basically here last night. So, like, they have a list of places that you can go. But yeah, so I'm pretty much cooped up here in my apartment, and can't really do much.
Yeah.
I hear you, man. I hear you. It's pretty much what's going on all over the place.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm glad you're able to join us on another Sunday with the Punters.
That's right.
So where are you allowed to go? Is it like everywhere else? Pretty much grocery stores and liquor stores?
Yeah, so yeah, it's like they have a list. It's like, grocery stores, you can go to the pharmacy, you can go to like a car repair shop, if your car breaks down. Just like the most basic of businesses that like you need to survive.
Mm-hmm.
NS, you took a break from cooking?
Yeah, that's been my aside from work, because I work from home, but aside from that and homeschooling the kids, my main activity this lockdown has been cooking. So
That's cool. I like to think that like I'm somewhat of like an amateur chef too, but for me, I'm always trying to find new things to cook.
yep, it's a great thing to do and makes the kids happy, makes everyone happy. And, just you end up. I've been starting the dishwasher like 4 times a day. So
Right.
But aside from that,
I baked bread from scratch the other day for the first time in my life.
Nice. Very
that's
nice.
the
Was it like
thing
a
that
sourdough or?
yeah,
No, just regular old plain white. I want to do sourdough next.
I've been seeing that from every single person I know on Facebook since
Yeah.
the lockdown started. Everybody's posting pictures of the loaves of bread that they're cooking. It's like it's the new thing.
Yeah.
How about that?
Pretty sure all the bakeries are getting really, really scared, right?
Mm.
Looking at social media, thinking, "Oh, these guys are all learning."
And it's not that tricky either.
No, it's not.
A little time consuming, actually, like a lot of waiting.
Well, that's
Yeah.
okay. We all got
Yeah.
a lot of time on our hands.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true. Honestly, like it seems like every dough, like you start out like you need it and everything, but then like you let it sit in the fridge for 30 minutes and you need it some more, let it sit more, So yeah, it can be time consuming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was getting all excited, showing off to the wife how much it expands and all that.
Yeah.
Making a big production out of it.
Right.
I see Howdy's license expired and he can't buy liquor anymore. So
Oh no.
Oh, wow. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, Howdy.
Have you heard, like, they're considering liquor stores an essential service?
Yeah. That is
Yeah.
Apparently.
liquor
And
stores, The beer distributor across the street from me is an essential service, and it's still open.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
great.
Here, right away, it was deemed essential. That in the cannabis stores.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to understand that here the liquor stores and the cannabis stores in Quebec are provincially owned, right?
Mhm.
So supermarkets can only sell beer and like really cheap wine. All the good stuff, all the liquor, is all state-owned stores. So they know how essential it is to the bottom line. It's,
Right.
yeah, that and cannabis. So for whatever reason, people were lining up. And,
Yeah. Yeah. Either, cooking or cleaning or getting drunk or getting high. I guess that's what
yeah.
everything's boiling down to.
Hmm.
Oh, wow.
I
Williams
went through.
Watcher said he was a chef for 8 years and always will be and still have a massive passion for cooking. Good for you, man.
Awesome.
Yeah. Very nice. Yeah.
So what did... Go ahead,
Go
Dennis.
ahead.
No,
No, I
no.
was just going to quickly say that I was my old business partner was a chef for many, many years in a previous life. So it was always great going out to eat with him. He always, would scope out all the restaurants and stuff wherever we would
Right.
go. So.
Cool. No, I was just gonna say, how awesome was ID's guys' show last night?
Oh, it was
3 hour
awesome.
marathon.
Yeah.
It was so cool, and the I love. I don't know if maybe it's the people that he attracts, right? It's his audience,
Mm-hmm.
but so for a show that's more like supposedly about design, I guess he
Mm-hmm.
seems to attract a lot more real watch people than some other shows, right? So there's so much variety,
Right.
so many cool watches, right? Like it's even though I think like a lot of the people in that audience owns like the subs and the Daytonas and the
Yeah.
Nautiluses, but there's so many cool watches.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
From all, and it runs the gamut from way low to ultra high, and it's just it's amazing, and I think you're right. It's the audience that he's drawing is just amazing, and it's just fun. And it was great. It was great to see your watch, Chris, and Ennis, your a couple of your watches, and Thomas was on there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It was just neat. It was neat.
Where is
Yeah.
Thomas? But anybody know?
He was in the chat.
Was he? didn't even
Yeah, I
see.
looked earlier on. He was in the beginning, and
Oh, okay, yeah.
he was on. He was on
Oh,
with me
that.
with Rich Buddy for a little while this morning.
Okay.
But I'm sure he'll pop in. He always does.
Yeah.
Yeah, Audi, you want a summary of the recent live streams? There's no new East Coast West Coast fighting or anything like that. It's been pretty quiet, but yeah, there's been some cool streams.
Yep, for sure.
There's been like a few Rolex Patek streams too, but it's been cool. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it's like some of those are less and less frequent.
Exactly. Hey, Chris, you ask and ye shall receive, and there's Thomas.
Mhm.
Thomas, hello, sir.
Hi there, Zippo. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm having real Wi-Fi trouble, so I'm running on the cellular phone at the moment. So if I
Okay.
drop out, just I'll drop out and let some of the other punters jump on. So yeah, just say hi to you all. Hi, NS. Hi, Zippo. Hi, Logan. And hi, Blue Shirts, my friend.
Hey, Thomas.
Hey, Thomas.
Hope you're all doing well.
We are hanging in there.
Yeah, heard you just talking about the ID guy stream last night. It was
Yeah,
great, wasn't it?
Wasn't it fantastic?
Yeah.
Mhm.
What a great stream. Yeah, just so great to see so many people contributing and the community coming together that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like he's really hitting his stride with the wristwatch check streams. right?
Yes.
I felt like the first one was a little bit clunky, right? Like he was at some point, like at midpoint, it felt like it was going to last like 7 hours or something. But
Right.
he's doing really well.
Yeah,
Well,
he's hitting his stride for sure with it now, and he's moving it. Even though it was more than 3 hours yesterday, I agree with you. He's getting the hang of it, and I'm sure he's getting bombarded with hundreds of emails and hundreds of pictures. So
Yeah,
it's cool. It's cool, and
yeah.
it'll be cool to when he does his reveal of the watch he got.
Yeah.
mhm.
I tried.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I invited
yeah.
him onto this one. I haven't got a reply from him, but I'm sure
Really?
that his email is jammed right up.
Yeah, I've asked
Yeah,
him
he
to
is.
come on as
It's
well,
it's
but
hard, I think, to it's hard to get a reply from him, and I understand, right? He's like super busy, and he's still studying, isn't he?
I believe he is.
no,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
No, he's
I've,
done, Thomas.
I'm not sure whether he's still studying for another qualification, but I know that he's working for a design consultant. He's very
Okay.
busy with them, and but he's telling me I've been emailing him and I've been jabbing him to come on the show, but I don't think we'll see him on here because he was telling me that
That's all right.
his email inbox, he misses messages from me because his email inbox, he says, has basically become an inbox for the wrist shot week, and he
Right.
just gets bombarded. He just gets bombarded with hundreds of emails for wrist shot week, and it's just overflowing, but
Yeah.
it's a great thing. It's a great thing, as you all say. It's a great thing. He really is hitting his stride. I mean, he had that first one, which was like a beta show, wasn't it? Which wasn't an official wrist shot week, and now he's on to number 3, and I think it'll just keep going. It's a great success.
So, Geezer, how are you, my friend?
Gentlemen, how are you?
Hey, Giza, you well, my friend?
Good. How are you, Thomas? You good?
Yeah, doing well. Just had something to eat, and yeah, just adjusting to the
Right.
clocks going forward as well. I had a bit of a shock when I woke up
Yeah.
this afternoon, not this morning.
Yeah, we lost an hour today. Yeah.
Neo, it says your device is not connected. I don't know if you need to retry it. There was a thing on before I started the stream saying that there are technical difficulties just because of the high volume. So we may end up with some of that.
All right.
Sure.
Yeah, everybody's doing live streams now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a great way to pass the time, man.
It is.
absolutely.
Mhm.
It is.
So, one thing you thought we ought to mention today, Zippo, was legibility. I thought I saw you bring that up. That's a really good topic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Legibility on watches, and I saw you posted in the ID Guy stream that you also wanted to bring up the Omega trilogy.
What was that? 58, 57,
57.
57,
Yeah.
57 Omega trilogy.
Yeah.
When that came out, that trilogy set was so expensive.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
now you
it was
can
about.
now you can get great deals on them.
You can, yeah. I mean, 1957, Omega released the professional timepieces. So this is off their website. They say that would go on to become absolute.
You're breaking up a little bit, Thomas. But yeah,
Classics.
Mhm.
The Seam Master. In 1970, they paid tribute to them by releasing the 60th anniversary of each model. So they did the Seamaster 300, the Railmaster, and the Speedmaster 57. And the Speedmaster Broad Arrow was the first chronograph watch to have a tachometer scale on the bezel, which is interesting. The Broad Arrow model. And so it's a really nice one using the
.186-1 caliber, and then the Railmaster was designed to for people working in electrical fields, and beats the Milgauss by a mile. It just has a resist fields of 15,000 Gauss instead of 1,000 Gauss.
Mhm.
The Seamaster's based on the CK2913 original Seamaster, and has the famous Naiad sign on the crown, which back in '57 was a mark of exceptional water resistance, apparently. So and that has the 8806 movement. So they're all cracking watches, but as you say, now they're available for a great price.
So the three came as a set, right?
Correct.
Yeah, you were
Yeah.
actually able to buy them separately
Right.
as well. But you could buy what they call like the trilogy set.
Yeah, they were limited to 3,557 pieces. So they came in a trilogy set, which I'm not sure what the edition was for the trilogy set, but they also came in individual pieces. You can still get hold of a couple of them. I mean, here in England, I think it's Goldsmiths are doing the Railmaster still. I've been looking at that.
The trilogy set, what it came with a huge box, and
Yeah.
if I remember correctly, for each of the watches, you had at least 2 or 3 extra straps for each watch, like leather, and you had NATOs, and came with a ton of stuff.
That is, I don't know that I'd ever want to buy 3 at a time, but if I was, it would be these 3.
It's very cool, and to have a set like that together, it's its own little mini collection.
Yeah, you got it all.
I love. Go ahead, Thomas. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that I love the broad arrow hour hand. It's a great.
Yes, gotta love the broad arrow,
and the the quarter Arabic numerals as well. The 12369 is just beautiful.
Yeah, and I think the Fotina really works on these pieces.
Agreed.
A vintage vibe, and
yeah, it really does, and it's but it's not like I feel like it works because it's not overdone.
Exactly.
Correct.
And to me, I know it's weird, but to me, it does away with one of the things that I dislike the most about some of the Omegas. It's their classic bracelets.
Right.
Right.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you get the look of the classic bracelet, but it's a modern, solid. It's not going to fall apart on you.
But it's also not the look. I don't like that on the Speedmaster Professional, right? That bracelet that they all come with, the Moonwatch. I actually find these ones are nicer, right? A little bit cleaner, looks more classic.
Yeah, it's the original 3-piece bracelet, isn't it?
It's weird because it looks more like the vintage ones, but to me it also looks more modern at the same time.
Yeah. And I really like the old school logo and the fonts. So those are
having the applied Omega logo. That's really nice.
Yeah,
that's really nice. But yeah, a set like this is it's a win-win in my book. Something. It reminds me a lot of what Zenith just did last year with the set of 4 watches that the anniversary of the El Primero, something like that.
Right.
That's if you're a real El Primero fan, that's something to have.
I'm not aware of that one. Which one was that? They had
El
Primero set.
They had a set of it was originally 3, but then the 4th one was the one that you liked that they just the
A384. I'll have to bring those up as well.
Yeah, I never heard of that.
Yeah, it comes with a
Ooh.
little Ennis. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, I just
It
forget
comes with
what's
a
it's
little
called.
like a faux watchmaker's bench with a little light.
Yeah.
There
That
you
one
go.
wasn't that one wasn't cheap either.
No,
That
it's
does
not.
look cheap.
It was
Wow.
like 40 grand, I think,
And
and that was for 3 watches.
so I always wondered too. I don't know if anybody on here has one, but when I saw that, I always wondered what are the chances that that little glass I don't know what you'd call it between the two lights. Whatever it is, I wondered like how many people got it and it was broken.
Yeah.
Mm.
Is that just a cover for the loop or something?
Well, it's a because it's a faux like watchmaker's bench, right? That's usually where you'd put like a movement that's disassembled, right?
Yeah.
You usually put that while you're working on, well, when you're not working on it,
Mhm.
so that there's no dust.
Right. One of the, I think one of the perks of getting this, at least when they originally rolled it out, was that you had the option of going to Switzerland, to Zenith, and getting it presented it to you in the factory, and then taking a factory
Really?
tour and all that. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. It was pretty, but big bucks. Like I said, I think it was 40 grand. I'm not positive, but it was somewhere in that neighborhood.
It's like a proper
And when you bring
workbench
it
sort
back
of thing, isn't it?
home, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And when you bring it back home, right, you can't bullshit the customs guy and say, "Ah, that's my travel case."
Right, exactly.
You say I'm a watchmaker. Yeah.
Yeah, I travel with that all the time.
Yeah. It says it's my business. It's my business. I'm a watchmaker.
Mhm.
Just a toolbox.
But it's a
Yeah,
proper
and
watchmaker.
as Neo,
It's for like changing all these straps and opening it up,
mhm,
changing everything, isn't it? It's great. I love it. But 40K, wow.
and as Neo said, there was a space on the far right there, right, for the
For the fourth watch, yep.
Yeah, that hadn't gotten released yet. So yeah, it's funny, right? It's a European delivery, kind of like what you can have done when you buy a car. And it's interesting that you mentioned that because I forget which interview. I think it's the Odinky interview with Jean-Claude Beaver when he mentions that he offered in-home delivery back in like the 80s for Blancpain, right when he started. And he said, yeah, we had this thing where people would order a minute repeater, and I'd go to their house, and we'd have like lunch and stuff, and I'd present them the watch, and so it's a pretty cool thing to get.
What was the fourth watch in this? And did they release it eventually?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the one that they just released.
It's right there, right? The final piece in the 50th anniversary, right there. Yep.
Yep. There you go.
Nice.
That's cool. Yeah.
I wonder if that
Look
was
at
that was like a good marketing thing, right? Where everybody that bought the box, when that one came out, they're like, ah, crap, now I have to buy it.
Yeah, speaking of, I think John also did a set of 5 about 5 years ago to commemorate the end of 38mm watches. I think all pieces in steel, and those were like real big bucks. I think they retail for over 300,000 or something like that. I mean, then again, you're getting 5 Johns.
Right.
Yeah, and I think Tim Mosso mentioned it. Well, it's either Tim Mosso or Steve Halleck that mentioned it. And they were saying that nowadays, I think at least like 1 or 2 in that set basically sells for what the entire set cost originally,
Exactly.
Right.
which is probably the tourbillon or the résonance, right? They probably sell for that price. So.
Yeah, I have seen those pieces being sold individually at these dealerships, as in grey market dealers. And you're right. Yeah, some of those pieces being sold for way over. Yeah, that's a cool set.
Wow.
I just Williams watches. Please come on again whenever you can, because I'd love to see those. The watch stands. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's almost it's almost too bad, like sad when you see one of those hit like a reseller, like a gray market dealer, and it's not in the set, right? Because that one more set got broken up.
Yeah.
But then again, right, it's a super cool opportunity to be able to get one of those.
Yeah.
And how much was this?
I think that the retail was just over $300,000 US dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the one Bill Sanders has, right?
Yes.
Yep. Mhm.
Oh,
But somebody who had the money, that was like a crazy, amazing buy.
I wonder if they threw in the baseball hat.
I don't know. My guess is that they didn't have trouble selling those, so they probably didn't give you anything.
Yeah. You get the box.
Yeah.
Fancy box.
And you know how Jean is now offering the pre-owned service? I can't remember what the service is called. It's called like patrimony service or something like that. And I've seen them actually buy up some of the. These were supposed to be like a set, but I saw them actually buying up, these ruthenium pieces and making them into a set, upon the request of a collector, and then actually making them into a set, and then sending them off to these collectors. I thought that was a pretty cool idea.
Yeah, that's very cool. So basically putting sets back together.
Yes.
It's cool.
Yeah, Neo, I kind of agree with you there. I don't know that I want everything the same.
Yeah.
Great as they are. Same with the Zeniths there. Like I understand that some people would absolutely love that, but I think I'd like a little variety myself too.
I mean that's a good point, especially like Jaune that they have amazing special edition dials. That like the different boutique editions, the special precious stones dials. I mean they've done really, really amazing stuff. And even some of the older ones, right? Like the older gold dials that would oxidize like in weird ways.
Oh,
Those are super collectible. And
I'll be right back, guys. I gotta take care of something here.
no problem. Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was looking at the Chronomètre Souverain, that one, and there were still deals on them. I just wasn't there at that point where I could buy that. But yeah, wow, those are really cool.
I like these Souverains with the applied numerals. I think the ones that are out now are actually printed numerals. Yeah, I think they've changed it back in 2016 or something. But yeah, these previous applied numeral CSs are super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Would you guys be more, if you had the opportunity to get a current production one or one of his older ones that have the brass movements in it? Do you have any feeling one way or the other which way you'd prefer to go?
I personally, I would like the. I think the brass movements, right, are just so collectible. There's a lot of history in them, but I don't know if I would want to pay the crazy extra premium.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, objectively speaking, I mean, I would go for the modern gold movement ones. But as N something was saying, in terms of collectability, it's a no-brainer to go for the brass ones.
Yeah.
yeah, because it would depend a lot on what you're getting.
Yeah.
Because if, like, let's say you're getting an older, less complicated brass movement watch, but for the same price, you could get the rose gold movement, like Optimum or Resonance or something like that. You're better off with the modern but more complicated watch, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Even though the newer ones tend to be just a little bit bigger size wise too, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But they're not
Howdy's
huge.
asking for
right?
a wristwatch check.
I've got my Explorer 214270 Mark 1 on.
I'm wearing the Moser Endeavor. It's the only thing that I have that's wound right now.
I got the Hamilton today.
Nice.
Big beefy boy. Thomas, how about yourself? Are you still? I wondered if his connection crapped out.
Yeah, his Wi-Fi is a little iffy.
Yeah.
You wearing anything, Geezer?
Yeah, I'm wearing my CB as we speak.
Very apropos.
Yes.
Oh, we're on wristwatch check. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm just wearing my Panerai. Just got the old.
You're wearing your easy to sanitize watch.
Pam on.
Really like that watch.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Beauty.
I like those. I like those Panerais that are a little bit off the beaten path, right? Like the titanium ones, the carbon ones. I like the ones that are a little bit different.
Welcome back, Logan.
Hey,
Let's see if I can show Howdy.
Oh, nice.
It's Jazzmaster. I don't know the number on this one, but it's I don't know if I ever. Yeah, I think I told you guys about this one that I got it for next to nothing and put in a few bucks. Like all in, this thing cost me $250.
Right.
To get it fixed and everything. So
Nice.
it was a heck of a deal.
Cool.
Very nice.
Welcome back, Logan.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, hopefully this sounds okay. Usually they're like I try to join by my phone, and like it works great for the first few minutes, but then it gets just super choppy to where like I can't even hear you guys. So
yeah, I've found that you really gotta. It works best when you're on your computer.
Yeah,
I used to join in via the phone too, and as soon as more than 2 or 3 guys hop on a stream, then everything goes to pot.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it was better when everybody used to use the when you could still use the built-in Google Hangout.
Yeah, Google
system.
Hangouts. Yep.
Yeah, but now that you have to use like something like StreamYard, because we use that for work, Google Hangouts, and works well with the phone and everything else. But not. I guess it's not supported yet anymore for the live streams.
Right.
It's weird that they would cut it off like that.
Well, honestly, Google has a history of starting these programs up and then like sure, like they're great and all, but then over time they just sort of slowly take them away because like they don't want to put
Mm.
they don't want to put in like the money to keep them going, I guess.
Yeah, and Google Hangouts was always more designed for like work meetings, right? And I think it just happened that you could also do you could use it with the YouTube platform, but my guess is those live streams, even though there's super chats and stuff, it doesn't generate that much money for them, or not enough for them to keep developing it.
Right.
Oh,
What do you got on your wrist, Logan?
So today I'm wearing the Seamaster.
hey man,
Nice.
good. How are you?
Nice.
Yes, like it sounds like Flippin's got a call.
Yeah, you got a call.
Mhm. So which Seamaster is that? Is that the last generation one or the one right before?
Yeah, so it's the newest one.
Okay.
Got the ceramic bezel and like the wave dial.
Very cool. With the date at the 6 o'clock.
Yep.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a nice. I've tried that on a couple of times, and I've been tempted, just because the movement is so nice, and the ceramic bezel is so nice.
Yeah, it's a great move, and it's it's just all around like a great watch. I mean, I recently learned that like I have I recently learned that like it's like 10 minutes down the road, like I do have like a boutique there. So if I ever wanted to go check out like the Planet Ocean or anything, I could just drive 10 minutes down the road and go check it out.
Mm-hmm. Nice. That's
Well,
handy.
they did a good job with the latest one, I found.
They did. The only thing I wish they would go away from, and I know they're not going to, but is the skeleton hands. I don't like the skeleton hands.
Oh, really?
If they filled in those hands with loom, that would be a hands down winner.
Honestly, my only gripe with it, for me, is like the helium escape valve. How it's just, I mean, it's pretty huge. Like it's almost like a zit, really.
Right.
I mean, like, but I mean, if they did, honestly, if they could just make that a little bit smaller, I mean, I think it'd be a home run.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they could very easily eliminate it and just put in a.
Yeah.
Or put in a flush mounted helium escape valve like everybody else does.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
So, but I could even forgive the helium escape valve if they just filled in those hands, because I can't stand those skeleton hands.
I think they're great. I don't really have a problem with them.
Hey, that's everybody. Clive, he hates the whatchamacallit.
He hates watches above 33 millimeters.
Yeah, that's
no.
it.
He hates the snowflake hands on Twitter.
Yeah, snowflake.
So, but
hey, Carlos.
Hey, Carlos, welcome.
Hey, Carlos.
Hi, Carlos. You well?
Yeah. So I don't know. I think we're all at a standstill.
Yeah.
Buying watches, so it'll be interesting to see when it all starts up again.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I thought about buying Patrick Chip's Coke, but I mean, I just I mean, he's offering it for just a total steal, but
he is.
But just given the current situation that we're living in, I mean, I might need that money for something else later on down the road. So I mean, I just decided that while it's a great deal, I think the safer option is just to kind of hoard it away.
You're a smart man, and it's a great deal, and it's a fantastic watch.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there. I mean, I've been waiting for Rolex to come out with like a ceramic Coke, and I just don't know when they're going to do it because, they've been updating like the Pepsi for the past couple of years, and all that. So, and there was even rumors that they were going to, come out with like a black and orange GMT as well. So, so I mean, honestly, I don't know why they wouldn't just go ahead and do the Coke first and then get experimental and do other colors later.
Right.
Yeah, the problem with that is they're going to come out with the Coke at some point. Then all the gray dealers are going to snatch them up, all the
Right.
flippers, and then you'll be like one of those guys that's waiting for a Pepsi for 5 years.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a Batgirl, or it's the same. It's the same thing. As soon as they come out with something, and they all get
Yeah.
snapped up. So,
Yeah. No, look, I think you're doing great waiting. I think things are going to get worse before they get better. And
yeah, agreed.
and again, don't be one of those people that's reading too much into certain things. Like, oh, they stopped production. It's like everybody's freaking out. Oh, if I get the call from the AD, I'm going to go buy it because they stopped production. Yeah, they stopped production, but nobody's buying either.
Yeah.
Right. And just as easily, if things ease up a little bit, they can start production right back up again.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, I know that there's like a current rush for Hulks right now because everybody thinks that they're going to discontinue that.
But there's so many out there though.
Yeah,
the
I was
Hulks.
about to say, despite the fact that people thinking that Hulks might get discontinued, I have actually seen that the prices of Hulks like dropping quite a lot in the last week or two. Yeah, a lot of people are selling those.
And that could just be because people are trying to offload on their pieces right now, just trying to get some liquid cash.
That's true.
Could be. Geezer, you were saying you saw them for like under £10,000
Euro.
by you?
Yeah.
Or euro?
Yeah, there was a I can't remember whether it was on Rolex forums or some other forums, but there were a few posts where people have been kind of showing screenshots of the actual realized prices for some of these EB listings, and there were a few that were sold for like €9,500, which is like just over, I don't know, maybe 10 US or something like that.
There are a lot of those out there too. So
yeah,
it's and you don't. And the other thing too is you don't know how fast the market's going to recover from this.
Right.
So,
correct. Or the economy in general.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Who knows?
yeah, and always you always have to remember, right? No matter how fast or slow the economy recovers, there's tons of things that people are still going to need, and watches aren't one of them, right? so let's say we have a slow recovery, right? The slower the recovery, the more people are going to need a new car, right?
Right.
So car or Hulk, car.
Yeah,
right?
car wins every day.
Your kids' braces or watch, kids' braces, right? If the world markets don't recover so quickly, plus, I think a lot of people that have been speculating and buying more than what they could realistically afford were really propped up a lot by the stock market doing so well, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, when you don't have these investments coming back, if you were looking at a $15,000 watch because you made $15,000 on StockX and now you lost $15,000 on StockX, you're turning around and that Tissot is looking mighty fine,
right?
So,
yeah. And speaking of Tissot, have you seen that new one that they came out with? I'm not sure if I can't recall what the actual reference number is, but I mean, it's a let me try to look it up here. Just
The chronograph?
no, it's just kind of like a blue dial, steel.
Okay.
Is that the Gentleman Powermatic?
Yeah. That's it. The Gentleman Powermatic.
Mhm.
Yeah. I thought it was a great looking piece. I mean, it's a great sort of rugged entry level
Yeah.
steel sports watch. Maybe not a steel sports Rolex, but a steel sports watch, I guess.
Yeah, hey,
That watch, that watch is really cool. And what's really funny about it is when it came out, it got like a little bit of hype behind it. And if any of you are in the Horology Talk Facebook group, people started posting them,
Mhm.
and everybody got, like, all the Rolex fanboys got really, really mad, saying, "Oh well, like a Datejust is much better than that." It's like, yeah, but a Datejust is not like a $900 watch.
Yeah. That's apples to oranges.
Yeah.
exactly. Howdy from Texas. See you later, pal.
Yep.
See you, Audi.
See you later.
Yeah, honestly, I would compare it more to like an OP than like a Datejust. Yeah, it looks like it's 775 on their website.
Yeah. But even then, even comparing it to an OP, right? It's even
Well-
that sort of is unfair, right? It's
Well-
so cheap.
Well, and I meant more from just like a looks perspective.
Yep.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, but it was funny that people were getting so defensive, right? And I guess people were realizing, it's starting to get close. for
Yeah,
that price.
exactly.
Yeah.
You got to do what you got to do.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, I mean, hope everybody's staying safe. I guess everybody on here is on lockdown at this point.
Yeah.
Yep.
So just got to hunker down and, hopefully we get through this thing very quickly. Get back to normal.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that it'll probably be about maybe 2 more months of this, and then maybe it'll start to slow down again.
Yeah,
It's faster than that.
One thing that I heard was it's a point I hadn't considered. Hopefully they get it under control quick before the hurricane season,
Right.
Oh, right.
because the last thing you want is to have to pack people into shelters when
Right.
you have this going on. So
Yeah, there was just a tornado in Arkansas the other day. It's just like, wow, it's the worst possible freaking timing for something like that to happen.
That's terrible.
Have any of you guys seen any good bargains so far? I mean, other than those Hulk skis, do you see anything that caught your eye as a particularly good bargain?
Oh, yeah, I was actually following the Watches of Knightsbridge auction yesterday. It was a full online auction. And I think there were a few pretty good deals. And obviously popular models were still sort of selling like hotcakes. But then again, a lot of the less popular models were not even reaching the reserves.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so a lot of the watches were not being sold, but the few Genta watches and a few Omegas and a few Tudors, I think, were pretty good deals from yesterday's auction. But apart from that, no.
yeah, I think the sort of apocalypse hasn't reached the dealers yet, but it's coming. And I think you're going to see crazy deals when it starts to be collectors, right?
Yeah.
When collectors start needing to offload a couple of pieces, then you're going to really see it, because then everybody's sort of competing against each other. I think a lot of dealers are still in a position where they still talk, right?
Yeah.
There's still a community. They probably all try not to compete with each other that much.
Mm-hmm.
But there's going to come a time when, they're repossessing the car, and those, those 5 Daytonas I've got to go.
Right.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
it's all perspective.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's like, does Delray still have that one day only 10% sale?
His prices have been starting to come down because every time he posts a video, I pop on his site, and he's his prices have slowly started to come down. Plus, Clyde was saying that you can call him up, and there's some wiggle room. You can negotiate a little bit with him.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right. And I just checked his website, and no, he doesn't have any sales going on.
Okay. Because he did like a 10% one day sale, but
He
it
did.
lasted like 4 days or something.
Yeah. 4-day sale.
Yeah.
One thing that not that like the rest of you guys, I'm not getting anything, for a while, but it is what I'm keeping my eye on. And I've always had my eye on the Brigade Type 20 for a long time, but I'm curious to see how low that watch goes, because it's come down a bit even before this started to happen.
Yeah.
That's just, to me, it's so much horological bang per buck with that watch. I mean, it's like anything else, it's not everybody's cup of tea. To me, it's just it's a classically beautiful chronograph.
Mm-hmm.
Are you looking at the date version or the non-date?
The no date.
Yeah, that's a classic. Yeah.
Yep. I think what you're going to see with that particular watch is a wider selection available.
Mm-hmm.
Because the only issue with that watch is you've always had really crazy deals.
Mm-hmm.
But the really cheap ones usually have bezels that are just like finished, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
completely faded, scratched up, no more paint on the numerals. I'm just looking at Chrono 24 right now, and I see some that are going for pretty low, but in good condition.
Right.
So I think you're at least going to see that better condition deals. But sooner or later, it's going to,
Yeah, and that's the one watch that goes against what I always suggest to everybody else. As far as a bracelet, I'm always get the bracelet. You can always switch out to the strap. But for that watch, I don't like the way it looks on the bracelet, but I love the way it looks on a strap.
Yeah.
Mm.
So if I were ever to get that watch, it would be on a leather strap.
Yeah, there's watches that were never really made for a bracelet, and the bracelet never really looked well on that, right? Like I'd say that includes the Brigade Type 20, that includes the Brigade Marine, at least the old version of the Brigade Marine, not the new integrated bracelet type one. I think that's true of a lot of non-sport jaune. There's a lot of watches that are like that just don't go that well on a bracelet. And that's definitely one of them. A really nice strap. Yeah, can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, and I mean your Moser, it looks outstanding on the strap, but it looks equally outstanding on that bracelet that you just got.
Yeah, there's lots of watches that are like that that'll go well with both, but and sometimes it's just that the bracelet isn't that great. right? Like the Type 20. The Type 20 and the Brigade Marine, it's not that they don't make nice bracelets, but honestly, I don't know how much thought went into those bracelets.
They're like an afterthought.
Yeah, on the Type 20, on the Type 20, if you really look at one with the bracelet really looks like some sort of aftermarket bracelet. Right? The first link is like 1.5 times the size of the lugs, right? The bracelet doesn't really follow the shape of the lugs or the bezel or anything. It's just weird, you know?
Exactly. I think you can say the same thing for IWC. I mean, their bracelets just do absolutely nothing for me and you know, some of their watches are really good looking, but there's just no way would I, if I ever got one, ever consider getting one on a bracelet.
Yep. And some of those bracelets, if you ever see some like that are used, some of those IWC bracelets and even some JLC bracelets don't age well, right? They develop this weird oxidation on the back, and they were really like an afterthought sort of thing.
Right. Have you guys had any experience with Patek bracelets?
Yeah. Yeah, because I used to have the 5711 Nautilus. I mean, I can't fault that bracelet for what it is. You know, it's beautifully designed bracelet, really comfortable. But obviously, the clasp was a bit flimsy. For that money, you know, they should be putting something better as a mechanism.
Right.
But equally, I understand why they've done that, because they just want to keep it like true as possible to the original.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, and also the AP, you know, the Royal Oaks, you know, the bracelets are fantastic.
Right.
I would, you know, I would argue the Royal Oak bracelets are better than the Pateks in terms of how they're actually constructed and the attention to detail. But in terms of comfort, I would say, unless you're talking about the 15202, because those bracelets are actually thinner than, say, you know, the bracelet that you find on 15400s and 15500s.
Right.
Unless you're talking 15202s, I would say the Nautilus bracelets are a little bit more comfortable, for sure. And also, my father's got the annual calendar in the not the Nautilus one, but the just a standard complication annual calendar with
50-35.
Yes, with the beads of rice full gold bracelet. You know, they're very old school, but they're very comfortable. You know, in terms of design, it's not for everyone. It's I mean, it belongs on my father's wrist. I don't think I can personally pull it off. So those bracelets are fantastically made and extremely comfortable.
Right. Some people I know were giving them a little flack for still using pin and collars and not using screws.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I used to give that kind of flack to like everybody that still uses pin and collar. But after, so the Moser one uses pin and collar, but they use pin and collar in where the collar is in the center, and it's bi-directional, so you can never mess it up, and the collar never falls out because because it's in the center, right? So it can never come out. So it's not like a Seiko where, you know, that stupid collar can just come out. So I think if it's done well, I'm sort of warming up to pin and collar. Plus, if it's a gold bracelet, I'd rather have pin and collar than a screw. I think.
Speaking of Patek bracelets, the one bracelet I can't stand is the Aquanaut bracelet.
Really?
Yeah, on steel. I just think they look hideous.
Yeah, and so the really weird thing about that is when they came out with the Aquanaut, right? They made a whole show of saying that thing would never come on a bracelet, right? It was supposed to be the cheap entry level model for young people. It was going to come on the rubber strap, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then they made the bracelet, I think, because that watch sort of developed like a life of its own, right?
Yeah.
So I have nothing against the Aquanaut, but to me, when you put a bracelet it's like it goes against everything that watch was supposed to stand for.
Exactly, and just in terms of the pure, I guess, the design and all, I don't think it's just that well designed. It just doesn't look very pretty compared to the bracelet that you find on Nautilus and.
I have to wonder if that's not a little bit by design, right? Where they didn't want to have like the cheaper model sort of overshadow the Nautilus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But yeah, it's what the bracelet on the Aquanaut reminds me of. I don't know if you've ever seen a 50 fathoms on the bracelet that they make.
Oh yes, yeah.
It's the same thing to me, right? It's like why does that bracelet even exist?
Yeah.
Right.
And like B, why are you getting it?
That's another watch, 50 fathoms, perfect example of there's no reason why you should have that on a bracelet and it looks so much better on a strap.
Yeah, who gets the bracelet though? It's usually people that bought that as like a Submariner substitute for some reason, for some weird reason, because they couldn't go on Chrono 24 and buy one of 25,000 Submariners that you can get. It's like don't try to turn that thing into a Submariner. It's its own thing.
Not.
Yeah, it's a really cool.
I think it's better than a Submariner.
Yeah, it's a really cool watch, and it looks good on a strap or whatever you decide to put it on.
Yeah. Yeah. The only thing I wish they didn't do is the engraving of Blancpain on the side of the case. That's the only thing.
Yeah, that turned out to be a lot more divisive than I thought it was. Like the more I hear people complain about that, I never really realized that a lot of people didn't like that.
Yeah,
but yeah, they're really cool.
I mean,
watches.
it wouldn't stop me from getting one if I had the funds to do so. I mean, it's definitely one of the watches that I'd love to have in my collection. But I'd rather it not have that. But
before I got the Pioneer, I actually looked at that. That was the other watch I was thinking of getting, because I got the Pioneer to have a sports watch for the summer that would be on a strap, a rubber strap. Like I love the bracelet, but as soon as it's going to get hot, I'm going to put the strap back on. I like in the summer a rubber strap watch. And I looked at the Blancpain a lot, but you need to get to me, I would need to get the mil spec, the one that's a little bit smaller. And that was just hard to get at a good price.
Yeah. So same thing with the Barracuda. That's the 40 millimeter one.
Yep.
That's only 500 pieces. So that's a $18,000 US watch.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. I tried one on at watch time, and it's great. And I like the I like the bathyscaphe too, and that's 43, and that fits my wrist really nicely. It's just a little more stripped down, plain Jane. It's not as aesthetically pleasing as the 50 fathoms.
To to me, the bathyscaphe was just too much of a compromise.
Correct. Correct. I agree. But the beautiful watch. Blanc Palm makes some beautiful watches.
Yeah.
Agreed. Speaking of bracelets, what are your thoughts on the Lange Odysseus?
I personally like it a lot.
Yeah.
I just think that I find that so many people are completely missing the point on what that watch is.
Yeah.
Right. That watch is like the that watch that was before the Nautilus.
The Neptune.
Yeah, it's the same as the Moser Pioneer, the Neptune, and the Jaune sports models. It's an everyday watch for their existing customers.
Sure.
Right.
To me, that's what it is. And that's why they wanted. You need to be an existing customer to get it, right? At least at first.
Yeah.
Right.
And to me, that's because they're signaling that they don't want this to be the next big sports, the steel sports integrated bracelet watch, right? So they don't want to become like a 70,000 watch a year maker. They want to stay at 5 or 6 or whatever, 1,000, right? I'm sure they'd be happy doing like 6 or 7,000 instead of 5. But they don't want it to be the hype watch. They want it to be the watch that most of their customers probably want, right? And that's something they can wear every day.
Yeah, I saw an interview with, and it was somebody from Lange when it came out, and basically he's like, it's what you just said, Ennis, that we designed this watch for the times when you don't want to take one of our dress or complicated watches out, to go mow the lawn or go get groceries or something like that. You want something that's a little water resistant and a little tougher.
Yeah.
But I don't think that you have to be a previous customer for this, because Lange sent me a bunch of emails inviting me in to come see it once they got it at the boutique in Manhattan. And I've never done any business with them previously.
It might be.
I mean, it's not everybody's cup of tea. I think it's 32,000 US.
Yeah,
it's expensive.
Something along those lines.
Yeah, and that's what everybody's complaining about. But the thing is, it compared to other steel sports models, you're not getting like an entry level movement.
No, absolutely not.
Right? It's not like the Saxonia thin movement in there. It's if this was a gold Lange, that would be a $50,000, $60,000 watch.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like the you talk about this is what you wear to mow the lawn and everything. There's an interview with it might have been the Tim Mosso interview, but or another interview. Maybe it was the German guy. When they interviewed Edouard Milan, he talks about the Pioneer, right? And how he resisted releasing the Pioneer. They had designed it, they were talking about it, but he didn't feel that it was like the correct fit with what Moser stood for, right?
Yeah, it wasn't Moser enough for them.
Yeah, and so, but he tells the story that he came back to work on Monday, right, on a Monday, and some of his watchmakers were pushing the idea of the Pioneer, and he came back one Monday and he had been playing with the kids in the backyard over the weekend, and he came back with his Endeavor perpetual calendar in platinum with a huge dent in it.
Oh.
So he goes to it's the one that he wears all the time, right? It's got to be really nice,
right?
It's what he shows off the brand with. So he goes to the watchmakers to get it fixed, and apparently they said, "Well, now you know, screw what you're thinking.
Right.
We're doing the Pioneer." Right.
Right. You just proved our point.
Yep. So, no, I love the Odysseus.
Yeah, I like it too. I like it. People harping on that bracelet. I mean, it's. I like it just fine.
Mm,
I mean, I've yet to go in to try one on, but just from what I've seen online, it's beautiful.
mm,
And I also love that. I love how the clasp has like a really smart like adjustment. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
yeah, and it's funny because the clasp is one of the things that people complained a lot about, right? Like, oh, it's got the logo of the brand on it and all that stuff. It's really weird, but I think people built it up so much,
Yeah.
and people were all expecting that Lange was going to release something that they were going to be able to get for $15,000,
Right.
not be on a waiting list,
Right.
and it would be like the Nautilus that they can't get, or
Right. And the other thing I think people were expecting were that I've heard complaints about it is that it's another blue dial sports watch, but the movement isn't finished to like what a datograph or one of their higher end models. I mean, it just people had unreal expectations, I think, about it.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that the movement is finished to higher standards.
It is.
Than most of the competition.
Exactly.
In that space.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, I really wouldn't mind picking one of these up for like 40% off or something. At that price, it would be an amazing value proposition.
I have to wonder how much how many they're making though. It's because if it's part of I guess they must be increasing production because of that model.
Yeah.
But by how much, right? It's not like they're going to make 1,000 a year of that thing.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I know that like this watch is meant to be like their sports watch, but I mean I actually think that it would look better on leather.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the beauty of that watch, right? It's you get it, and the way by not making it just another porthole integrated bracelet watch, I think that's the really cool thing about it is you're going to be able to put on a strap, maybe like a more. I'm sure it's going to look great on a croc strap or anything like that, but on a more casual leather strap, or like a matte, like a lot of Mosers today, they have a matte kudu leather straps, something that's very casual, and that thing is just going to look amazing with casual wear and like a leather strap.
Yeah, I mean, precisely for the same reason. I mean, that's why I prefer Aquanauts over Nautilus as well. Because, I mean, yes, it would be kind of silly to take out the rubber strap and put something else on. But at least you've got the option to be able to put something else on. And I have actually seen some folks who put leather straps or other kind of straps on Aquanauts. It really kind of jazzes up the watch. It's you have that possibility, whereas with Nautilus and Royal Oaks, it's almost impossible to swap out. I know you can get aftermarket ones, but because they have a very specific shapes, it's not as easy and just doesn't look as seamless as because the watches with actual lugs, you can pretty much wear anything on them, right? But if it's like an integrated design, it just doesn't look as natural.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's the one thing that I tip my hat to with the with VC and the overseas is the interchangeability between the bracelet and a leather strap and a rubber strap. They give you all three. They give you a deployant. and it's easy to swap between the three. That to me is genius
Absolutely.
and real value for your money, because you're literally getting 3 watches for the price of one.
Absolutely.
Because even like the 5712, right? That comes on a leather. They can have a leather strap on.
I just don't think that looks as nice as on.
No, yeah, because of that center piece.
Yeah.
Right. It just
yeah.
It looks like there's something missing on that watch, and I've seen them in real life.
Yeah.
And now there's like something missing on that watch. It's really, really weird.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I missed all the conversation there. I was talking to my brother on the phone.
No worries, man. No worries. It's like Archie bailing out on his own show.
Yeah. I was actually thinking the same thing, Bluetooth.
Yeah.
That's not a problem.
No worries, Chris.
Yeah.
Zippo,
healthy,
I was going to Zippo, could you just post the link again? I'll then join on another device, and if not, I'll just someone else come on.
I'm looking at updated numbers while you guys do that. See how many numbers of the coronavirus in my province. Keeps going up.
Keeps going up here too. So
I can't seem to post anything in the chat.
I can copy and paste the link.
there you go. You got it, Zippo.
worked. Second time it
I
worked.
see it.
Just getting back to the overseas for a minute. I really like that watch. I just wish it had stop seconds on it. I don't understand why they don't put that in that watch. It just boggles my mind. I know Pateks don't have the minute. It just 21st century. You need to have stop seconds in your watch.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you manipulate it though, right? If you kind of wind backwards.
Right. I mean, we all know, how to back hack.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, that's putting more strain on the movement than having having a break on the movement to hack.
Yeah, it's this weird. It's this weird thing that they have with using the older movements, the same as AP does, right? With their entry level ones, and like the collectors somehow think, oh, it's great, it's using the old GLC movement and all that stuff. But I don't know. There's newer versions of those movements that are much better, that they could get, right? It's not like those older GLC movements. It's not like they had 1 million stockpiled in the basement. So
yeah, I mean, some people it doesn't bother. To me, it just, I like to be able to set my watch precisely. It's just part of my OCD. But
what really bothers me about non-hacking seconds watches? It's for modern watches. It's people that are constantly saying it's okay. It's okay to put strain on the movement, hacking seconds and stuff. It's like, maybe in the 70s, right? But like modern watches, you're not going to break it by hacking the seconds.
Right.
People are doing it. So.
Yeah. No. Like I said, that was just a pet peeve of mine.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we did have a little topic for today, didn't we? Which was the old Grail watch.
Oh, yeah.
Did any of us come up with watches for that?
I did.
You did, Zippo. Did you, Geezer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you, NS?
Yeah, I always have like about 26 different Grail watches in my head.
What about yourself, Blue Shirt?
Just my VC history,
VC
1942.
42.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about Logan? You might not have been aware of this, but we discussed the other week that we'd think about our ultimate grails. Funds dismissed. So
Sure.
if you had access to ultimate funds, what would your ultimate grail watch be?
I would probably say like a Longa 1815 chronograph.
Beautiful.
Nice.
So Zippo,
Nice.
could you bring that up?
I can't.
Langer 1815 chronograph.
I mean, of course, if money is absolutely no object, then sign me up right away for the JLC Westminster chimes tourbillon.
Yeah.
I'm all in for that one. That's an amazing watch.
I think everybody would take that watch.
Yeah. And
Oh,
that's
look at that.
800 grand.
Yeah, euros. Yeah.
Beautiful watch.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. That one, the 1815, what it has that I really, really like is to me, a perfect dial.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
That other Langes don't always have.
Correct.
But to me, that one is like the perfect dial.
Yeah, and the symmetry, everything is just spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Excellent choice, Logan. Excellent choice. That's a beautiful watch.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of debating whether I pick this or like a datograph, but they're both equally great.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How much do these go for?
I haven't checked lately, but
I got the
certainly more than I can afford right now.
So NS, we had the JLC Westminster, was it?
Yeah, that's for me. It would be it would be between that and any Grubel Force. Like a Grail would either be either the Westminster or the what's the name of the Grubel Force, the handmade one?
The handmade, yeah.
Yeah.
The handmade one. I think that's another watch. Want to bring that up, Zippo?
Yeah, Grubel Force, which one?
Handmade one.
So I've said this before, right? I really like watches that have a story behind them, like the Chronomètre Optimum and all those watches. And to me, the handmade one has this story where it started out as a project, and it took years to design. It took years to go out and find the machinery.
Yeah.
Because some of these things, there aren't that many left in the world, those machines that you can use to do that. And to me, this is the perfect answer to people that always say, watches are so overpriced. They're not worth the price tag. Here's an example of a watch that's incredibly expensive, but it's what I think it's 6,000. Is it 3,000 or 6,000 hours? I think it's 6,000 hours.
Yeah, it's something ridiculous like that
of labor to make that watch, but you're not talking about the design, right? This is just the hand, the hand labor to do it, and it's not it's when they decided, okay, we're going to make every piece by hand, right? Nothing's going to be machined first and then hand finished. But
sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to finish by saying they decided to use that on a watch that's, not like a simple three-hander that runs like 25 seconds fast.
Yeah.
Right? It's a watch with today's specs and expectations, but handmade.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, wasn't Philip Dufour involved in this project in some capacity? The handmade.
No, I don't think it was the handmade one. I was going to actually bring up one
Yeah,
which was
I'm not sure, Geezer, but might be.
I think Philip Dufour was involved in one of the projects that Grubel Force did.
He was, yes.
I can't remember whether if it's this particular piece or like a signature one or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I was going to go for the that particular watch you're just mentioning.
The signature one?
It was the Grubel Force and Philip Dufour. It's called it's a bit of a long name. Naissance d'un montre prototype. So it's a bit of a long one. That one you'd have to search Grubel Force Philip Dufour.
And Junior Johnson, totally agree. But that's a whole other level.
Yeah, Roger Smith, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think any of us would love to have a Roger Smith in their collection.
Yeah, well, I was actually tossing up between this one and a Roger Smith, so I can tell you the Roger Smith I was looking at as well.
Sure.
After Zippo brings this one up.
Oh, yeah,
this one was the Grubel Force Philip Dufour.
Wow.
Le Garde Temps. This one went for auction for $1.46 million at Christie's, Hong Kong.
Crikey.
Wow.
But how cool is it that from the front of the watch, you see the ratchet system on the barrel?
I know.
Like that is, you almost always see that on the back of the watch, even like the watches that are skeletonized and, like reversed or whatever, you never see that on the front. And this one, the signature one, that bridge.
I really like relatively simpler Grubels because the cases are perfectly round. Because the ones with Tourbillon, they've got like those like bubbles and stuff. I'm just not the biggest fan of.
Yeah. And those ones that are more complicated, that they have the bubble, but the case is already pretty big before the bubble, so it becomes a bit awkward.
Yeah.
So the Roger Smith one I was looking at was the Roger Smith Series 5, the open dial.
That's a cool.
So if you just if you type in Roger Smith Series 5.
Oh, beautiful watch.
Yeah, the open dial one,
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that one, Thomas, what I really like is, people often talk about the new Breguets and the Breguet tradition, right? How it's very close to an old Breguet watch.
It's got those lugs, hasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. But what I like
same lugs, same round shape. Yeah.
What I like about these ones is that the new Breguets are nice, but this is, to me, it's handmade, right? So it's really more Breguet than Breguet is.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing to do. What he makes like what 50 watches a year, if that?
No, less than that.
Less than that.
I think he makes 15, if I'm not mistaken.
15. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Kari Voutilainen with his whole team makes 30, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy even like forges his own case in his little like sink. Have you seen one of his videos? where he actually starts up with like a bar of gold, like a little rod of gold, and then he actually forges his own case in his like sink. He like heats it up.
Really?
Yeah, and like pours like water from his sink to like cool the metal and shape.
Mhm.
It's incredible.
Blimey.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Because I think there are like like 100 something disciplines in watchmaking or something, and Roger Smith is one of the very, very few, if not the only watchmaker who's mastered almost every single one of those disciplines in watchmaking, including case making, dial making, and
Wow.
I think the only
Well,
thing he can produce himself is the springs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who makes springs? That's one company, isn't it?
There's a few companies that make springs, but not that many. A. Lange makes springs. Moser, Beauvais makes springs.
Rolex.
Yeah, Rolex has their own, and
They do their own.
Swatch. Swatch obviously makes their own. But yeah, isn't it like something like 8 or 9 companies?
Yeah, not many. That's for sure.
Yeah. I think it's the number that makes their own has increased a little bit with the advent of silicon.
Yeah.
Right. So you have Edis Nardin that makes some. The Bethune makes their own like silicon disk escapement now.
I think
Yeah.
Sean invested in this company based in New York.
Mhm.
Off the back of Columbia University or something, that develops materials for hairsprings and all.
Yep.
I think one of the guys who used to work for Hodinkee, one of those really techie, nerdy guys, Hodinkee, and another guy, I can't remember his name, but he actually wrote a book about F.B. Jean, and that guy's like quite a figure in independent watchmaking. And I think he was like one of the panelists in one of these like Hodinkee shows or something before. But anyway, yeah, because apparently hairsprings in watchmaking is one of the most difficult components to make, because it is like within the world of watchmaking, it is like the tippy top in terms of the material science, and yeah, it's one of those parts that's like really difficult to master, I guess.
Yeah.
So, Blue Shirt and
Yes, sir.
Geezer and Flipping Zippo, we've just got your grails to hear. I'm just going to jump off so Junior Johnson can get on. If you can post the link, Zippo.
Yeah, and
all you do, Junior, is you just click on the link, and it'll take you through to StreamYard. If you're on a phone, that'll take you through to StreamYard, and that'll be fine. Or if you're on a computer, that should do the same. It'll give you instructions. So I'll just jump off, and you guys go through your grails. That'll be great. And Junior, look forward to hearing from you, man. That'd be great. Another punter. Okay, guys, take care.
All right,
See you later, Thomas.
Hey, see you, Thomas. You know what? I mean, I'm actually have to jump off too, guys. It was fun talking with you. Hope you guys stay safe. All right.
Yeah, you too, Logan.
Man.
You too.
Pleasure.
Keep well.
All right.
Makes me happy just thinking about these grails.
Mm,
Yeah,
certainly does put a smile on your face.
absolutely.
I'll show mine then.
Okay, cool.
Very similar to Logan's.
Ooh, beautiful.
Nice.
Double split.
The Patek or
The Lange.
Nice.
That watching that seconds hand split apart. Oh my god, that is miraculous.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't blame you there.
Yeah, look at
Yeah.
that.
That just is mind blowing.
I
Yeah,
just
they're-
when I at watch time when I was at the booth, and I had the data graph in my hand, and I was there with the rep, and then literally I was there 5 minutes just staring at the movement.
Mhm.
Just it's the most incredible piece of machinery I've ever seen. It's just unbelievable, and I don't have the words to describe it. Just
you were
amazing.
you were staring at it and thinking, can you make it past the security guards? You start running right away.
The rep was just he kept waiting for me to hand it back to him.
Yeah, will I make it to the subway, right? And like melt into the sea of
Let's see if I sell the house and I live in the car.
yeah.
And eat
And,
ramen for 3 years.
Exactly. And Williams watches totally agree on the Krivia. Very, very nice watches.
So this my Hamilton kind of reminds me of this one a little bit. So this is what helps me to dream. And somebody's car is dead outside or something.
But those watches make you think, right? Like that, or a Daytona, a gold Daytona on Oyster Flex. Right? It's,
yeah, it's just I don't know, the Daytona and the sub, just they're nice, and I respect them for what they are, and they're fine watches. They don't do anything for me, and the only sub I would ever consider getting would be a two-tone bluesy, and a Panda Daytona. Yeah, would it be nice in my collection? Sure, but I'd rather have a Brigade Type 20 in my collection before a Daytona.
I mean,
But that's just me.
I think that the thing about Rolex is that it's just so it's completely no frills. You can just like wear it anywhere,
Right?
You don't have to worry about breaking it or things like that. It's just so usable. I mean that's kind of the only reason why I really like the modern Rolexes, because they're so reliable and
Right.
they're very well built.
They are.
Yeah.
They're tough.
Yeah, I think every single modern Daytona, modern Rolex is a great watch at like MSRP, or
Correct.
if you could get them like at 20% off, like you used to be able to, right?
To pay a premium, no way.
Yeah,
absolutely. No. As speaking of Langes, the only downside of these is that they just wear quite big. That's the downside for me with with the modern Langes. Is that they're quite thick as well. But obviously, it's because obviously you have that 3D kind of sculpture.
Yep.
On the back. But
yeah, you were mentioning that, I think, on the ID Guy stream, and
yes,
yeah, that's the thing, right? You get a certain look, you get a certain movement architecture, but there's a cost to that, right?
Yeah,
you can't get that amazing depth in the movement by making it a 10 millimeter watch.
Yeah, I think that's why the previous generation of datagraphs, or the 1815 chronos, are like literally the sweet spots, because
agreed.
Yeah, you get the same effect in terms of the depth and all that. So I think those are the ones to have.
I agree.
Yeah, there's over 500 parts to these.
Yeah,
it's just
that needs a lot of real estate,
and the fact that they actually build it, test it, and then disassemble and then reassemble again before they actually ship it out to the ADs. That's what's even more amazing, I think.
Yeah, I completely agree. That is just to put it together, then take it apart, and then put it back together again.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
I don't quite. I've never understood why they do that. if it works the first time, like, is it just to quality control testing that everything can be, that
Well,
nothing's.
it's that, and I'm pretty. They probably do like a little bit of last minute finishing
Yeah,
too, right?
that's understanding. Yes.
Mhm. But yeah, and the other thing that I really like about this chronograph is the fact that it's their chronograph,
Yeah.
right? Like I love Vacheron Constantin. It's one of my favorite brands, and I love the Comme de Vache chronograph.
Yes.
Love it.
Yeah,
But
great watch.
yeah, but at the end of the day, it's like for that watch, it's okay because it's a kind of a reissue.
Yeah.
But it's not their chronograph, right? At the end of the day, it's a Lamagna.
Does that have a module?
No, it's an old Lamagna movement, right?
Gotcha.
Like,
It's not theirs.
yeah, like the older Patek ones, right? And even the new Patek ones that have their in-house chronograph. It's their in-house chronograph that looks suspiciously like
Yeah.
like the older chronographs, right? It's exactly like an old Lamagna, except that it's got like their cap on the column wheel and things like that, right?
Mhm.
It's nice, it's cool. I get it. I'm not against that, but it's like an off-the-shelf part in like a really expensive watch. So
So these ones are up at the $285,000 price point. And one thing I never noticed this part before, the a deployant buckle, platinum, $9,000 Canadian.
There you go.
yeah, well, when I called up the AD because my Moser Endeavor, right? I got the pin buckle, and it's the white gold pin buckle, and it's the older style Moser because they've changed the pin buckle at some point. So I figured, you know what? I really like deployants. So I'm going to call up. I'm going to see how much it is, and I'll see if I can order one. So I called them up, and I called up that place in Vancouver, and it's 4,100 Canadian plus taxes and shipping. So I was like,
Wow.
I'll keep my pin buckle at that price.
I buy mine from Buckle Guy for $3 a piece.
Yeah, that's it.
Buy them in bulk. Junior Johnson having troubles getting on, hey?
Yeah.
Sorry, Junior.
Shame.
Yeah, I find you gotta mute. You gotta
in the
mute
chat.
YouTube and then hop on to StreamYard.
Yep.
Hopefully that works.
Yeah, it's trying from an Android phone. I've just given him a few instructions in the chat, so hopefully you'll be able to join us.
Yeah,
It'd
we'd
be
love
great
to
hear from him.
Love to have him on.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, that was my.
Yeah. So
my
whose grail are we left with?
Yeah, Geese, have we had yours?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a few actually, but
hit us up with them.
Yeah, obviously, I think I've said the only watch jaune last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's my kind of grail. If I could,
bring it up again. Yeah,
that was the salmon dial one.
No, it's the blue.
Oh, the blue. Okay.
Yeah, 2015 only watch. So it's basically chronomet blue. No, it's flipping.
Yeah.
Only watch 2015.
Gotcha.
2015.
Yeah.
Ooh, yes.
This
That's
would
pretty
be
sweet.
my ultimate grail.
Tourbillon.
Yeah.
It's in tantalum, the same blue dial as the chronomet blue. 40 mils, tourbillon, Remontour.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Have all of the I forget the 2017, have all of the jaune only watch been tantalum cases?
Yes, tantalum plus a blue dial. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
This would be my ultimate. I think this got sold for just over 500,000 Swiss francs in 2015 to a very prominent Jean and Patek collector based in Lebanon, I believe.
Honey,
Yeah.
My scooter works.
did
I
it?
mean, that's
Was that what I heard out there? Sorry, guys. 1 second.
No worries.
yeah. I mean, that must be $1 million watch now, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you go for a ride?
That's one heck of a watch. No.
Yeah. But, I wouldn't mind having, say, 'cause, I mean, with this, there's only one in existence. So unless that Lebanese collector decides to sell it, there's absolutely no chance that,
No.
Right.
on it. And I don't think money really is an object for him. So
No.
Right. So the,
just
Obviously not.
taking a kind of notch down, I wouldn't mind having the early Jean subscription tourbillon, one of the 20 early 90s tourbillons.
What about the one? What do you think about the one that was like an homage to his early pocket watch tourbillon?
Or like the T10 or something?
Yeah. Mhm.
I like them, but wouldn't be my grail. It's
So what was that one again, Geezer? The one that was a step down?
let me type in the chat.
I'll be right back, guys.
All right, please.
It was a Jean Watt tourbillon.
For subscription tourbillon. I've just typed it in the private chat. So it's one of the early
Subscription. Can you bring that up, Zipper? It's subscription. It's in a private chat. FB Jean subscription tourbillon. That's the one.
it's one of the early ones.
So this is a brass one, is it?
No, it's the one on the left. So not this pic, but the pic on the dinky one on the left.
Yeah.
That one, the Philips one. Yeah. So it's limited edition of 20, basically. So I think when Jean launched his own brand, I think this was one of the first series of watches that he's actually done in the 90s. So yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
And those are the ones that the dials aged in different ways.
Yes. Yeah.
So they're all at this point, right? Unless I don't know, you kept in vacuum sealed or something. They're all very different. The dials.
I think if I remember correctly, Philips sold one back in 2018. I think it was a number 18 out of 20. I think that was sold for almost 500,000 Swiss francs as well. So yeah.
I mean, today, considering that platinum resonance, how much it went for recently, I think today this is much more than that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And my one other grail would be, again, this is pretty much unobtainable, I guess, is the Philippe Dufour duality.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a killer of a watch. I love that nod back to pocket watches and the inspiration from pocket watches, and it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're dreaming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why they're
gorgeous,
grails.
isn't it?
Yeah.
And I love the idea behind this watch as well. As I was saying the other week, I'm not really interested in crazy complications anymore, but rather I want to have a watch that does one thing, but one thing exceptionally well, i.e., timekeeping.
Absolutely.
And I just love the idea of interpreting sort of the basic timekeeping in different ways. So with the Jean, with say Chronomètre Bleu, you have the double barrel for the constant torque. To obviously optimize the timekeeping. And it's similar. I mean, it's a very different concept with the duality, but it's still focused on timekeeping. So you have two balance wheels, they're beating at different rates, and there's a mechanism that basically takes the average of the two different amplitudes and tries to optimize the timekeeping. And it's just those different interpretations of basic timekeeping is what really interests me in watches nowadays. And I think this is one of the grails, not just in terms of the actual mechanics, but obviously the finishing is as you all know, is like second to none. No one knows closer to really before. So
Yep. That watch has got it all, right? It's got the finishing.
Yeah.
It's handmade.
Yeah.
It has. I completely agree with you with the whole being in service of time. Everything is in service of the timekeeping, and also it has a story, a great story behind it.
And it's so deceptively simple if you just look at it from the front. It looks as if it's some sort of pocket watch inspired wristwatch with the off-center seconds and all that. But the real story is on the backside, right? With the the two balance wheels and the differential complication, and just to focus on the timekeeping.
And this one in particular, right, would be a grail, the number 00.
I think that got sold for like close to like $1 million a few years ago, right?
Wow.
And people talk about value in a market and rarity, right? Here you're looking at a watch that goes up for sale at auction like once every few years, right? This is just to give things in perspective, right? The example that people often give, at least lately, people have been talking about the rarity of Rolexes of different brands, and they always say the same thing, right? Give me whatever the market value is, and I'll get you a Nautilus in like an hour, right? I'll get you a Daytona in like an hour. You want like a Nautilus with the what's that jewelry store's name, with the Tiffany & Co dial, right? Give me 3 hours, I'll get it for you. Box and paper is brand new. But like, you want a duality or a simplicity, like all the money in the world won't get you that watch.
Something else, isn't it?
Yeah.
I believe there are only 9 dualities in existence, and I don't think Philip Defoe is making these anymore. I think he just makes the simplicities nowadays, right?
Yeah, it's only the simplicity. And when he did the interview with Tim Mosso, right? Tim Mosso was actually surprised that you could still order a simplicity, right? So it's
that's
It's a beautiful watch.
It is.
There's European hands.
I love in that
$1
interview
million.
that story he said when he went into that into the Rolex AD in Switzerland and put his name in for a Pepsi.
That was such a funny part of the interview.
It was great,
and it kind of shows how both down to earth but a little bit disconnected with reality, like some of these guys are. It's the same as there's an interview in French with Jean-Claude Beaver, and he talks about like what at some point they talk about like what should young collectors getting into collecting, what they should get, right? And the same way that he said that Defoe said Rolex, right? Jean-Claude Beaver says, like don't buy a watch on credit, right? Buy something you can afford. It shouldn't hurt, right? You should be able to afford the watch. And then he says, it's like when you go buy a car, right?
Yeah.
You're 18 years old, don't buy a Ferrari on payments. I was like, Mr. Beaver, the example is like a Volkswagen.
Right.
The example is not buying a Ferrari on credit.
I think it was similar with the interview that Bark and Jack did with
Roger
Smith. Yeah, I think he had a Rolex GMT as well.
Yeah. Except that with Dufault, right? When he says go out, get a Rolex, they're great value and stuff. You have to understand, Philippe Dufault is the guy who walked into the AD. He put his name on the list for Pepsi, and and he admits that he had no relationship with like that AD.
Right.
Yeah.
He went in, no prior purchase history, and they called him like a couple of months later,
right.
And he went right after seeing it at Basel, right? And they were probably not in full production yet.
Yeah,
so it took a couple of months, meaning he got the first one.
Right. Imagine that whoever the higher up at Rolex was, and they were like, "Oh my God, we better get him a watch."
Imagine Rolex getting the notification that Philippe Dufour wants one of the watches.
When the AD called his rep at Rolex and said, "When do you think I can get a Pepsi?" The rep probably said, like maybe in 6 months. And then he said, this guy, his name is Philippe Dufour. You might know him. Like, okay, I'm going to go down the factory floor. We'll make you one right now.
Yeah.
So.
I've seen one of the Simplicities in the metal at a Philips auction preview in Hong Kong a few years ago. And, upon like closer inspection with a loop, like seriously, the level of finishing on the Simplicity is just next level. It really is just next level. Yeah. That you can't find a single flaw, in any of the edges. That the beveling is just like perfect, and
look at that gear shade out. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And what a store!
I mean, you're talking $250,000, though, aren't you? I mean,
at least, yeah.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
And when Stephen Halleck talked about value retention with independence, right? He did a video on that, and that's the example that he was using. He's saying, there's people out there that bought a Simplicity like when they were new or close to new and paid like $80,000 or something, and it's insane how much they're worth now.
Yeah. Yeah, well, these watches are, at like the legendary level already. These are. I mean, I hate to say the word investment when it comes to watches, but these watches are pretty much
true investments. Yeah.
Because these are not just watches; these are like actual pieces of art,
works of art. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? That we were talking about in the chat yesterday, right? About like this ridiculous notion that you should buy a watch, hoping that there's a market for it in the future, right? I mean, this has like this doesn't. It's not in the watch market. It's got its own completely separate built-in market.
Yeah, definitely. I remember buying my Chronomet Bleu about 5 years ago. A few of my friends were calling me crazy for spending that much money on a unknown brand, but yeah. Then I was saying, I wish I'd bought it back then as well.
Yeah, I remember seeing a Chronomet Bleu on Watchbox on the website for $25,000 US.
Really?
And thinking, Jesus, these guys are trying to profit off of the hype that there's around that watch. And now I think about that today, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Did we get your Grail, Zippo?
Pardon me?
Did we get your Grail?
Yeah, mine is the double split, triple split. Either one.
The Langer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Useful.
And look at what's on the screen now. That's
Sorry. Yeah.
Like these are,
And the
I
other-
know nothing about these.
Carry Voutilainen's, yeah, they are quite something as well. Those watches, yeah.
yeah.
And I love the fact that you can, when you place your order with Carry, you can actually customize a lot of the parts on the dial. So you can customize the hands, you can customize the color of the dial, and
Yeah.
so forth. Yeah, that's the
And you can customize the guilloche pattern. And
yeah.
if you saw the Watches TV run through of the Kari Voutilainen factory, like they have this this like little cupboard with they have on like little sheets of paper how to adjust the guilloche machine for each of the patterns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if they ever have to do it again, right, something custom, if somebody ever tells them, hey, I really like the pattern on that one, they can go back and figure out how they did it the first time. So
I have a catalog of like a physical copy of a Kari Voutilainen catalog from 2016 with his autograph on it. I was so happy when I got it.
wow.
I'm like a real fanboy here, but yeah, no, he's a lovely man, Kari.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's him and Max Buser always get named whenever somebody like a collector or a big time dealer get asked about like who are the nicest people in the world of horology. Those are the two names that always come up.
I would agree as well, because I have had the chance to speak with both of them actually, Max Buser and Kari. Both are fantastic people, really, really are. Yeah. The only thing about Voutilainen's that I'm not that I don't really like. I know that's one of the main sort of components of his watches. It's the lugs, the teardrop lugs. I'm not a massive fan of them.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I really like simple designs, like really just simple, clean cut, straight lugs. But yeah.
I wonder if I wonder if you could get that customized, or if that's like one step too far.
I don't think you can, because it's one of the key design cues of his watches, right? So I don't think it'll allow you to actually do that.
Maybe if you buy like 4 or 5.
Yeah, maybe.
then you'll let you.
If you pay enough, I'm sure anything's possible.
Like on the 6th one, he'll let you have straight lugs. I mean, and he made the like there's one guy on Bill Sanders' group that has he's going to be featured on the Watchbox interview. Really, really cool guy, really nice guy.
Yeah.
And he has a Kari Voutilainen 28, and he also has the Gronefeld that has the Kari Voutilainen dial. Those are just amazing. I mean, that's such a combo. You get a Gronefeld remontoir with a Kari Voutilainen dial. It's amazing. That's another.
Did we get yours, Blue?
Yeah.
Sorry, Dennis.
I was just going to say that's another dialed, another Grail, the MB&F legacy machines.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, Blue Shirt, did we get your Grail?
Well, if you want to pull up the Westminster chimes, you can do that.
Yeah, let's do that again.
Which one was that?
The JLC.
Yeah, if you just JLC Westminster, you see it's the first
top of the list, of course.
Oh yeah,
it is just magic. That watch, just magic.
Wow.
And Geezer, you've seen that one in real life, right?
I have, yes.
Oh my God.
I think that enamel dial in the metal, that's super, super gorgeous. The way it reflects the lights, yeah, it's just unbelievable watch.
Mhm.
That is just stunning, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to say, people don't realize how amazing it is that a non-independent, right? Like I know they're small. I know Jajar is small, but that still a company that size would be making
Yeah.
stuff like this. And the blue dial one, the one with the handmade dial, the hand guilloche dial
Mm-hmm.
in enamel. What's really cool is it's a whole series, right? You can get the Master Ultra Thin Moon. There's the Master Ultra Thin Perpetual, and I think isn't there I think there's a minute repeater
Mm-hmm.
that has that dial as well.
Yeah.
And it's all handmade. The enamel is hand applied, hand
Yeah.
guilloche. They're super expensive. Like, the Master Ultra Thin Moon, I think, is like $35,000 instead of the usual $9,000 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But they're beautiful watches.
Yeah. This is, like you said, Ennis. This is, a major brand just showing what they can do. Like, look at us. We can do anything that anybody else can do.
Mhm.
I mean, these are the watches. These are the reason why I have a tremendous amount of respect for JLC as a brand. Yeah, as you rightly said, it's they don't really have to do this, right? They can
Correct.
make reversos and simple reversos and master controls and all that. But the fact that they're dedicating so much resources into these super hush hush stuff is just I think what makes GLC really special as a brand. Yeah,
Correct.
they have a separate division within JLC, led by what's his name, Christian Laurent, who made the Gyro Tourbillon and all these things. It's just amazing the amount of resources that are actually pouring in to these projects. It's absolutely fascinating. It's a real pleasure, obviously, as a watch fan, to be able to see these works of art. Yeah.
There's a boutique in Vancouver.
Yeah, to me, this watch is as close as like a non-independent gets to a Grubel Force.
Right.
In my mind.
Yeah.
To that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, in terms of technology, finishing, just the concept, the idea behind this watch. Yeah, it's mind-boggling. It really is.
And it has so much stuff that there are things that you can read about that watch like 20 times.
Yeah.
And you still won't know. Like when this came out, I was obsessing about it. I kept reading about it. I was like couldn't stop thinking about it. And it wasn't until months later that I figured out that it also has a remontoir d'égalité in it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's got the Giro Tourbillon. It's got the remontoir d'égalité. It's got a perpetual calendar. It's got that date thing that jumps over, like the jumping date, so that it doesn't obstruct the tourbillon. It's got like the minute repeater has this is a complex chime. It's got everything.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And I was told that these Gyro Tourbillons sell surprisingly well, despite the price tag. Obviously there are a lot of rich people on planet Earth, but I didn't really believe my sales rep when she told me these actually sell very, very well. When I went to this JLC event last year, it was like a 2-day event with like a couple of like gala dinners and all, like black tie dinners, and also there were their sort of VIP clients attending those dinners, and literally I had never seen so many Gyro Tourbillons and Sphero Tourbillons in one room. It was just crazy, and those people are genuinely, you know, I have spoken with a couple of them, and some of them only collect Jara tourbillons and Sphera tourbillons, and you know these like
Really?
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
Wow.
the one that was their most expensive Giro Tourbillon right before this one, the one that had the moon phase and the 2 or 3 subdials,
yeah,
that one was really, really cool as well.
absolutely.
And then you have the Geomagnet Sphere Tourbillon,
Yeah.
you have the Reverso Giro Tourbillon. They have so many of those. Really, really. Yeah, the one I was talking about is the one, yeah, right there under. Yeah.
Because as you said, and there's something, you know, they do have quite a few variations of, you know, Jara tourbillons, and you know they are very expensive, right? And so when the rep told me that they actually sell these quite well, I didn't believe them because, but it makes sense. You know, there is a reason why they are making, you know, many variations of these, because there are genuine demands.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, they wouldn't be making them if they weren't selling them.
Yeah.
Now, and look, I think that you must have people with that type of money.
Yeah.
That you have people with that type of money that are, it's just like any other level of this hobby. You have people with that type of money that are into the hype,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So the thing that their grail is the Grandmaster chime, right? Even though it's like, it looks hideous, it's like super thick, right? But that's what they want. But you must have people that have that kind of money that are actual watch enthusiasts.
Yeah.
Right. And for them, it's the Grupo Force, it's this watch, right? It's the Chronomètre Optimum, it's the Jaune Tourbillon. Those are real like watches.
Yeah.
Right? So
are these
So
more?
let's
are
just
these
drop
more
it down a
available?
peg. Sorry.
Are these more available? Like, can you get your hands on these easier than you could?
if you have the money, you can call them up
like,
and they'll make you one.
Yeah.
It's 800 grand, I think.
Yeah, in euros.
I think these are made to order anyway, so
Yeah.
you won't find them, you know, sitting in the shop. The only reason why I got to see one of these is because it was an actual like JLC event, and they did bring it over from Switzerland, so it wasn't as if it was available in one of the boutiques in London. Yeah, they genuinely just like took it out of their vault in Switzerland and then brought it over for the show.
And that's because it was new, right? Because they didn't have that many. Bark and maybe was the guy from Bark and Jack at the same event?
I think it was, but I think it was only there for like press, like preview or just like review or something like that. So basically, it was like a 2 or 3 day event where they were inviting clients from all over the world, and they're paying for their hotels and everything. And they're also like hosting like a whole range of activities, like including like horse riding and stuff like that. And then in the evening there was like a black tie dinner, and one of the guests at the black tie dinner was Benedict Cumberbatch, the actor, because he
All right.
one of the ambassadors of the brand. He was reading some poems or something before the dinner, and then the day after it was like a press day or something like that where they invited you know, a few YouTubers and you know, these like websites to come over and check out some of these new pieces. Yeah, but it was.
I mentioned that because in his video he said that like he got to see that watch, but that watch right after that event was going back to Switzerland because they had a customer that wanted to look at it and maybe buy it, and you know, they don't have like 3 of them; they have that one, or well, they probably had one of each color, one of each variant. So.
And those as I was saying earlier, the enamel dial in that sort of emerald green / sort of coral blue, it is absolutely gorgeous. Because that enamel dial came in sort of other variations as well, right? In other watches, so it came in like a basic master master control as well.
Mhm.
It's very expensive. The simple master control with that enamel dial was like 40 grand or something. But it is stunning. It is quite stunning.
Mm.
The blue and
So I was going to say, let's go out of winning the lottery territory and drop it down a peg or two. So Zippo, could you bring up the Vacheron 1942? And we'll go back to a bit of a. This is Blue Shirt's other grail.
is that the one where you can change the frequency?
No, this is the triple calendar
Ah, right, this one. Ah, yes.
in steel.
Ah, it's gorgeous. Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah,
Absolutely love it.
beautiful.
I wanted that watch for. Well, I still want it. For the longest time, I was looking at that. And yeah.
That's
Yep.
lovely.
And this isn't steel, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Yeah, and
Correct.
I remember it being like very reasonably priced as well. I think in the UK, the retail is just under 20, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Still
Yeah.
very. I think it's a fantastic prop.
Yeah, it's like 18, 19
US.
US.
Yeah. And the base movement is the same as the one that Bill Sanders has.
Mhm. The 1921.
Yeah.
1921. Yeah.
So I think it's the 4400 or whatever it's called. It's a really well finished, nice base movement.
I love everything about this watch. The legibility, the case, the lugs. It sings to me.
Hey, Smoke Eater. Yeah, look, Smoke Eater. We're doesn't mean we can afford all those watches.
Yeah, these are grails. These are grails, Smoke Eater.
We can
We're
still
just
look.
talking about our grails.
We're still allowed to look.
Yeah. I was going to say my more affordable grail would be the Vacheron 1921 that you just brought up, NS.
The 1921, the platinum one is just perfect.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely.
It is.
So those Breguet hands and the
Yeah, that one
just
is
love it. The Breguet numerals are beautiful.
Yeah, I've seen Bill Sanders in person, and it's a stunning watch.
Yeah, I've taken a look at these in person and just stared at them in awe. Just dreamt about when I could afford one.
Just beautiful.
How much does the platinum one go for?
I think they're about 30,000
sterling, right? 30,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite pricey.
Mm-hmm.
Nonetheless, yeah.
Having done the exercise of converting Canadian dollars to pounds recently, I can tell you that's a lot of Canadian dollars. Yeah. I don't like that boutique edition one with the weird cathedral hands that much, but that one is cool. Or maybe spade. I don't know. Does that qualify as cathedral hands?
Yeah, sort of. I would say so. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that one either.
No.
Any of the chat have any grails that they want us to call up? Anybody got any real grail that they'd really love to have?
I've got another one.
Sure.
Yeah, go on then, Geezer.
I would love to have the Rich Lange Pour le Mérite.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Excellent choice, man. Excellent choice.
I was actually quite surprised by the sort of grey market prices, though. They seem to have dropped quite a lot in prices. Sorry, flipping. I'll type in the chat. So,
Please do, yeah.
Yeah, those are. I can see why they would drop a little bit in on the gray market because they're for the people that actually have one, right? Because I think a lot of the listings out there, it's like 5 people listing the same watch.
Yeah.
But if you have it, it's a big item to hold.
Yeah. I like the one in black dial, in white gold. Yeah, that one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at
Nice.
that. Mm.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, but the business is on the back end, you know, with the fusee, and it's just beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
stunning. With you can actually see the chain, and
Yeah, and you shouldn't underestimate how well they made it work and still preserve the 3/4 plate look.
yeah,
It's going to sound stupid, but they did it, right? It doesn't look like a skeletonized or whatever. And that's a watch that shouldn't be like the datograph, right? It should have a 3/4 plate.
Yeah.
Especially since that's what they looked at like in the sort of the marine chronometer days. So yeah, it's just done so well.
Is there like a more detailed shot of the movement? I'd love to see that chain in more details.
Yeah, that one should. If you can zoom into that one, I think you'll see the chain.
Just about see it, yeah.
I don't know how to zoom in.
Can you click on it? Yeah,
if you click on it, it'll take you to the website, I think.
Website.
Yeah.
There's a chain in here?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the fusee is the whole point is that it's shaped like a.
I think it shows you on that picture below to the right.
A bicycle chain, almost like.
Yep.
Oh shoot! Sorry. 1 second here. I buggered it up.
So the point is that it's like the fusee, right? The rocket is like funnel shaped.
Yeah.
So as the torque decreases, it's almost like as if the fusee part is almost like a variable gear, right? So what you would have in the back of your bicycle, so that as the torque changes, you still get constant force.
Yeah.
I think Carlos has come up with a grail in the comments, Zippo, as well.
Oh yes.
Oh, nice.
Reggae. Yeah.
So one of speaking of fusee and chain, right? If that's one of your grails, a nice one too is the Ferdinand Berthoud marine chronometer.
Yeah.
That's also a very cool brand when you think about it. It's the kind of like the personal project from the co-CEOs of Chopin.
Yeah.
I mean, you see the chain here, but you have to realize this is a watch, right? The chain is super small.
Right, but super strong.
Yep. And there's so much stuff that goes into being able to build a fusee and chain movement where you won't overwind it and break it.
Yeah.
Is this the one?
Ooh. Wow, is that right, Carlos?
Beautiful.
It's one heck of a watch.
Wow. Yeah, and that's in platinum. Wow.
Funny how so many of us, if we could afford a really high-end watch, would want to look at the movement. It's just that's what I chose. I mean, if I really spent an amazing amount of money on a watch, I just want to look at it. I want to see how it works and see it ticking and see it moving, see those cogs moving, see it whirring around, and just stare at it.
Put the strap on backwards.
Yeah, absolutely. Be able to put it on both ways. Just stare at it.
Wow, excellent choice, Carlos.
Very.
Lovely watch, Carlos. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, he said he had it on his wrist. They had it in Madrid's AD.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's a big investment for that
Yeah.
AD.
All right. Junior Johnson, Chapard, LUC range. Take a look at that one.
Chopard is an incredibly underrated watchmaker.
They are, yes.
Agreed.
Yes.
They're not for everybody's taste, obviously, but they make nice stuff. And we're talking about Grails. Their new like Ferdinand Berthoud brand is just that marine chronometer one is just insane.
Am I looking at the right stuff?
Yep. Those
Wow.
are. I think the sweet spot for Chopard though is they're more. I mean that's really nice and everything, but I think there's the sweet spot is they're more affordable, like simpler watches where I think you can get really a lot of.
I mean that's a nice one, the 1860 that you've got up there.
There's an XPS like that with the older dial. I don't know if it's sold, but it's been on Chrono 24 in Canada.
That's nice, the XB.
Yeah, for a long time for 5,000 Canadian, which is like, I don't know, it's like 2,500 pounds.
That's nice.
Like that one, yeah.
Lovely.
I like those hands.
Yep.
Yeah, very fun.
Cool. Yeah.
Sort of Dolphin, but not quite.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's they have their own. It's like kind of their own style.
Yeah.
Good choice, William.
Very.
But that one that you can change the that Vacheron that you can change the frequency, the twin beat.
Yeah.
That would also have to be a Grail.
I actually love the idea behind that watch as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's again, right? Watches with stories.
Yeah,
it's such an interesting thing to think about, and again, a big brand making having that thought process to me is very special.
Yeah.
Because a lot of big brands just say, you know, whatever. People are going to buy a perpetual calendar. Let them just have it. They buy anything that we make. But having the idea that, okay, we make perpetual calendars that are complex, that are hard to set, that have all these drawbacks. Let's make one where our owners can wind it, wear it, put in the safe for 2 months and come back and they don't have to wind it again, right? Or they don't have to adjust it again. I think that's such an interesting concept.
Mm. And that's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, that's that one's an acquired taste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll pass on that one.
Yeah. It's a lot of and these ones, the old sport models in steel, you can get them for like absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And they have the great micro rotor movement in them. Such value for the price.
William's got another Grail for us. Patek 5101.
Yeah, the Patek.
Yeah.
Oh, in platinum.
Nice.
Yeah.
Another good choice.
Absolutely.
With a K.
510.
Yeah, with the K is a
It's okay. It'll find it anyway. I mean, you can type in 5101P and it'll find it.
Google's intelligent like that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, who else uses 5101P?
Right.
Here.
Of course, I mean, pleasantly surprised that no one has brought up a Royal Oak or a Nautilus as the grails.
Yeah,
Pleasantly.
I am as well.
Is this the right one?
Yeah.
Yep.
Beautiful. Absolutely
cool.
stunning.
Very classy.
Yep.
See, this is one I've never seen before.
Well, that's how tourbillon used to be made, right?
Yeah.
It used to be like a scandal to show the tourbillon on the front of the
Right.
dial.
Well, that's a
So when did it become a popular thing, NS? When did that become a thing to show the tourbillon?
I forget which one's the model that caused a big stir because they had the tourbillon on the front.
Was it a Patek?
No, I don't.
No. I forget. Oh my God. I really, really forget.
JLC? Vacheron?
No, it was.
Reggae?
I've got to find it. I read an article about that recently too.
The thing I like about Patek is when it comes to tourbillons, that they never have like an open dial to show off. Almost
Is that
like-
right?
Yeah, I don't think they do show off the tourbillon gauge.
Yeah, and they don't make that many tourbillons either.
Yeah, the tourbillons are very sort of high-end application-only pieces, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very high-end stuff, which is like another level within Patek, because obviously you've got the standard catalog models, which are made in a certain factory in Switzerland. They have like a high complication workshop, near actually where the AP manufacturer is in Le Passeau. They have like that's where the real good stuff from Patek is made. Yeah, but those are like real sort of hush pieces. And the level of finishing is like different as well. If you go to that level of Patek, so if you compare your sort of run of the mill 5711 versus Patek like a split second chrono, they're very different in terms of finishing and yeah.
Mm-hmm. And to answer the question, I found it. It was always their big claim to fame. Frank Mueller was the first brass guy.
Right. Really?
Yeah.
How interesting.
And of course, at that time, it was looked at like a gaudy, crazy, disgusting.
When was that? Was that sort of 80s then? Or?
1984.
Right.
But AP had one in 1986. Yeah. Nowadays, it's pretty, standard.
I haven't seen a Mueller watches in a very long time.
No, but they've gone off the radar, really, haven't they?
Kind of hard to come by these days.
Mm-hmm.
A very 90s and noughties watch, weren't they? Very popular back then.
Yeah, Tim Mosso had a good take on it, right? Saying that they're sort of getting tired and dated, and
Yeah.
they keep saying that they're the master complications when they haven't been the master complications for like 25 years. Yeah.
Yeah, they.
Yeah.
And they've been reinventing themselves as sort of a poor man's Richard Mille, right?
Mm-hmm.
With the new case.
Right.
I do like the crazy hour or crazy time or whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The times all over the place. That's pretty cool in terms of the complication behind it.
But I liked it more in their older ones with the thinner cases.
Yeah.
Right. The new ones, it's a huge case. Like you see that one, the Giga Tourbillon, the wrist shot that was over there. It's like a huge, weird tonneau shape that's really thick and round and.
The only thing I don't like about these is the numerals.
Well, that's sort of their thing, right? So if you don't like the numerals,
then that's it.
Yeah.
I don't mind the case is a little weird too. I don't know. They're not for me. It's interesting though. And the hour hand does jump around to the correct hour, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just a 5. It's like a 5 bound instead of
wow,
normal.
that is crazy.
But and I think some of the most of the newer ones, I don't think they're in house either.
No.
Right, like their newer chrono. When you look at the movement and even the pusher shape looks like a lot like the latest Parmigiani chronograph.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure they use a Vaucher movement.
Wow.
Yeah. Just not a massive fan of the tonneau shaped cases.
Yeah.
Because
it's like that Cartier Roadster we looked at the other week, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they look cool if you can pull it off. But for me personally, because I don't particularly have like a big wrist, I think these are tonneau shaped cases that look silly on my wrist.
Mm. Especially the newest ones are really thick too, and they look like a bubble. I find the case is a little bit too thick all around. Right, the bezel should be thinner.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're not everybody's cup of tea, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a couple more affordable grails that I came up with, Zippo, were My Love for Breguet and the classic 7147. So the Breguet 7147.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's classic.
That's one I love.
Yeah.
And the thing about Breguet is you can get good deals, even brand new.
Yeah.
As I was saying earlier on Rich Body's stream, one of my mates picked up a Breguet tradition. He picked it up brand new from Hourglass in Singapore. He got 40% off.
Wow.
Really?
From an AD in Singapore.
Wow.
Wow.
But the retro second is really cool when it jumps to its initial starting position. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, there's This one I love, and the 5177.
The two new models that came out are really beautiful too.
Mm.
Yeah, the 7337 in blue. Yeah, it's stunning.
Yeah.
The only
Yeah.
thing they could have done with this
Beautiful.
one is taken the date wheel away. It's just that date. I could
Yeah.
have done without the date wheel.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Mhm.
But that's a stunning watch.
and the
It's
weight
beautiful, isn't it?
3 as well.
Grand,
next
the Grand Fur,
Yeah,
Grand Fur
you're
enamel dial.
right, Geezer. It's just so close.
Yeah, it just doesn't look right. Yeah.
No.
Mm. And then that always bugged me about a lot of people that don't like the date when it's not as close to the edge as possible.
Yeah.
Right? People always say, like some Calatravas are like that. People say, oh, that's a sign that the movement is too small, and
Right.
but it's it can't be that close to the edge either.
Yeah, and also it's to do with the the symmetry as well with
Yep.
with the dial layouts. I mean, one of the reasons why one of the watches that I'm eyeing on at the moment is the Aquanaut 5168G. And one of the key reasons as to why I prefer that one over the standard steel 5167 is precisely because of the date position as well. Because they use the same movement. Obviously, the 5168 has a bigger case, right? Compared to 5167. So the date is actually moved slightly more inwards, on the dial, and I think it just makes the dial look a bit more balanced and all.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think I'm just piggybacking on your point. Yeah, well, when people say, "Oh, yeah, the day position doesn't look right," or like it's too far out or too far in, you got to think about it in the context of the whole dial, in my opinion, not just not from the position relative to the movement, if that makes sense. But,
Mhm. Yep. And plus, I hate to burst people's bubble, but the date wheel
Yeah.
can be any size, no
Yeah.
matter how small or big your
Yeah.
movement is, right? It's
True.
literally
Yeah.
a piece of metal with printing on it,
Yeah.
right? It's like hands, right? As long as it's got the proper counterweight, the hand can be bigger than the movement.
Yeah.
So it's all those pictures that you see where the date disc fits nicely at the edge of the movement, right? It doesn't need to be that way.
Yeah.
It's the same as a hand.
Yeah.
So don't view that as an indication of how well the movement fit is in the case.
Yeah. Well said. Very well said.
I love that watch,
Yeah,
Tom's. Excellent choice.
Yeah, and Williams Watches is commenting, when you see a watch like this, it really does bring the topic of elegant, beautiful, and completely functional at the same time. Great legibility on both watches.
Mhm.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
But that's what you have with classic designs, though, right? That's when watches were made to be elegant but functional, right? As opposed to being a fashion accessory that's developed by a committee and like what's going to get us like all the Instagram posts and will this designer put it on their on the pictures that they get done for L or whatever.
Yeah. But seriously, some of these are Breguets are absolute bargains, in my opinion. They're just useful. But you see the secondary market prices for some of these pieces. It's absolutely crazy. And I would argue the same goes for Langes as well. We live in a world where 5711s are being sold for like 50,000 plus sterling, and you see like datagraphs being sold for like less than that. It's crazy.
Yeah, absurd, isn't it?
And one more thing about Breguet pricing on used watches: if you happen to have a smaller wrist size, they really are the sweet spot for amazing prices on the used market. If you're okay with a 35 millimeter watch, maybe 36, plus on top of that, because of the lugs, Breguets always wear a little bit larger than what they are. So as much as there are amazing deals on used, more modern Breguets, like if you're okay with a 35 millimeter watch, the deals on those are insane. Plus, it doesn't look like an old watch because it's a classic Breguet, right? With the classic dials and case and lugs and hands. So many deals on those watches.
And also the La Tradition, range of Breguets. I think those are stunning as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Those are nod back to some of these like early sort of really classical watches, but some of the new technologies, how they embedded into those pieces, and because quite naturally, those have a lot of real estate, on the dial, because it's got they usually have like a small stopper, right, for hours and minutes, and then they have a whole lot of like a real estate for other things to happen, and just the way those watches are constructed, I think, are pretty spectacular, especially for the money that you're paying.
Mm-hmm.
Can be had for like really really good prices. As I was saying, a mate of mine picked one of the retro second ones for 40% off.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's an amazing deal.
Yeah, you have great deals on them, especially when you consider what you're getting.
Exactly.
It's it's really really cool. But they're if you ever see one in real life, one of the things that's funny about them is there's so much happening on the front, right? And then you flip it over and it's the opposite of a normal watch, right? You flip it over and it's very very simple, but on the front it's just really really cool.
Yeah, and they really really are conversation starters. Tradition.
Yeah.
As you said, they're so unusual compared to other sort of more normal watches. Because everything is effectively open worked, you can really see everything functioning, all the parts moving. They're very interesting, fun watches.
Yeah, what I like about them is that it's open work, but not skeletonized.
Correct. Exactly.
Yeah. So you really are seeing on the front an actual movement, right? Not like you're seeing through, and because they skeletonized the bridge, you kind of see from the front. It's really really well made, very tasteful, and a lot of people in the hobby always joke, like you can wear the watch like upside down, right, or whatever. That's one where you're actually able to do that.
Correct.
Sorry, Flipping, could you bring up the Breguet La Tradition retrograde second, please? If you don't mind. Yeah, I just typed in the chat if you want to copy.
Sure thing.
I like Breguets, for the money. I think you can find bargains. And you're getting a lot of watches.
Yeah.
So.
Highly underappreciated.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, people go for the hype watches, don't they? And they forget about the these beauties, I think.
It's just super cool, So different. And,
then that's fashion, isn't it? That's trends.
Yeah.
The really cool thing about the tradition that I like is that you can get it in white gold too. Because I know the yellow gold one really looks like an old Breguet pocket watch. And I totally understand that. I get that it's an amazing look, but it's really cool to be able to get it in white gold and get something that in my view, is a little bit more, well, at least for me, more wearable.
I agree.
A bit more subtle, yeah.
Yeah.
I love the retrograde seconds.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The way
Yeah.
it moves and jumps, and
Yeah.
they are quite finicky, I think. Though, yeah, my friend, when he picked up his from the AD, the retrograde second broke after like 2 weeks or something.
Oh no.
He stopped jumping, so he got like stuck at one point.
Oh,
He had to send it back. So, but I think it's fine now.
gutted.
It's probably because like the watch was sitting on the shelf for like a very long time or something.
Sure.
Mhm. Well, on some level, though, I'm not trying to say that you should be okay with it, right? But I think at that level, it doesn't take much, right? Like you said, it could be sitting on, not moving for too long, or at that level of watch, I guess it's easy to get one little failure.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of but that's the thing about watches, right? And they're so small. Like some of the components are so prone to failures because they're so small and they're so fragile and so finicky. Things could happen. That's the reason why it's good to always have some sort of warranty when you're buying from the dealers and all that.
Yep.
Like a good dealer to stand by you when things go wrong.
That's the really cool thing about JLC, that they raised their warranties to 8 years.
Yeah.
And they honor that warranty even if you're not the original owner.
Yeah.
So on my 3 JLCs, only the Geophysic was too old it was like 6 months too old to get the warranty extension.
Yeah.
But the master control date that I got brand new from a gray dealer, right? So it was brand new, and the dealer, it was a guy who was on Rolex forums. And when I bought it, he actually said, "Oh yeah, I'm like, what name do you want on the warranty card? Because I'm going to go get it from my friend who's the AD." But I didn't buy it directly from an AD.
Right.
But that one, they still gave me the warranty extension.
Nice.
And the master chronograph that I bought used, they also gave me the warranty extension.
Nice.
So you get like
Good.
8 years, and
Wow.
Very nice.
And on that note, guys,
Yeah, we're hitting that 3-hour mark. I was
Yeah.
Yeah,
just
we're
about
hitting
to
the
say.
3 hour mark.
yeah, I've been sitting in this chair for like 2.5, almost 3 hours. I think I need
It's been
to
a
go.
great one.
Yeah.
I need to get up and go do some cooking. Yeah.
Getting
Great,
hungry.
great chat. Great show, guys. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, great one. Lovely to talk to everyone. Hope you're all doing well.
Yep.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks guys for coming on.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
And,
Junior, hopefully you
Peter,
can join us hopefully you can join us next week, Junior. It's been great to see you. I'm sorry you can join this week, so
yeah, and Smoke Eater,
Yeah.
it might have been that one. I know I've messaged that seller before.
Do you guys
So-
want to do another one midweek sometime?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it'd be good. It was a good one, that one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right on.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Junior, I'll try, and even if it's just go on and I don't know when, probably not today, but I'll go on and we'll just see if we can get you sorted out to get you on here. Even if it's just the two of us, or someone else can come on and try and give a hand too. So we'll get her figured out though for next time. So
Yeah, I'll just end with one topical joke. I've been spending the past 7 days cleaning the kitchen and separating all the food in the cupboards 2 centimeters apart, shelf isolating.
Right there.
Very nice.
all right.
Good one, Thomas.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, everyone, and take care.
Yeah,
Take
take
care,
care,
everybody.
guys.
Take care, everybody.
Be well, everyone.
Take it easy. Yeah?
Stay safe.